short as possible, so we will not want to take our time. I'd like to start with introduction of the people on the item we have. I'll start from the ED, Executive Director, ISN Products Nigeria Limited, Mr. Felix Ufo. Please stand up for the position.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And you would agree with me that flying up a project like this will have done with a more elaborate event because of COVID-19. We have to restrict to this number. And because if please check and ensure that we don't have more than 20% in this room at any point in time. If we do, I may have to take a step out. I don't be arrested by anything. Thank you. So because of this, we have in our midst a very distinguished personality, the former president, the immediate past president, Association of Medical Lab Sciences of Nigeria, Dr. Tulio Selaim. Can we please give him a round of applause? Of course, we have the person who is going to be driving the project. We call him the project consultant, Mr. Daniel Adewudi. Please stand up for recognition. Of course, this item will not be complete, although maybe next time, I don't know which one we have data up to 2. Okay, so we have the Head Business Development and Client Service for ISN Product Nigeria Limited, Dr. Sandra Achebe. Yesterday, I had to probe to know that she's actually from the Achebe camp. Can you please give her a round of applause? Thank you very much. And let's also introduce somebody who is in very helpful, who is in very part of this, the plan of this project. That person is Valerie Fobaje, the Executive Assistant to the ED ISN. Please wave Valerie. Thank you very much. Also in our midst today, the new president of AMLSN came with another very important personality, who is the Lagos State Branch Chairman, Mr. Olumide Fadibe. Please stand up for here. Thank you very much. They also inform us that we have a lot of people joining this flag up today online. They're joining virtually almost across the country from Abuja. And I actually just quickly recognize some of them that are joining. We have members of National Executive Council of AMLSN, and we have 2 secretarial staff who are joining with us. If you can hear us, thank you for joining in. We also have guests from the Medical Laboratory Council of Nigeria. We have the Registrar of the Council joining us, Mr. Kosan Narabo. Please can we give a round of applause? The PA to register is also on this virtual call, while the Council State Chairman and their members have also been encouraged to join, and we can only hope for a very good meeting today. So, without further ado, I'd like to call the project consultant, Mr. Daniel Adewuni, to give us his welcome address.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the management of ISN Products Nigeria Limited, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the official flag off of the maiden edition of the ISN Medical Laboratory Scientist of the Year Award. As the leading supplier of medical diagnostic products and services in Nigeria, we understand the important role played by medical laboratory scientists in the overall healthcare delivery system. Hence, the introduction of this initiative as part of our social corporate responsibility and contribution to the development of healthcare delivery in Nigeria. The ISN Medical Laboratory Scientist of the Year Award is an initiative established to recognize and reward excellence among medical laboratory scientists. This initiative is meant to boost their morale and encourage them to ensure accurate diagnosis. For today's event, this event signals the beginning of a new dawn for medical laboratory scientists in Nigeria, as the medical lab scientists in Nigeria now have an award to look forward to every year. for today's event, it is important to note that in line with the current COVID-19 realities and the guidelines, we are having a low-key flag of events. And we want to note that some of our esteemed partners, members of the panel of judges, and the distinguished laboratory professionals across the country are joining us virtually via various social media, the Zoom, and other platforms. And we want to appreciate everybody. Once again, I welcome and appreciate you all for coming and for joining us.
God bless you. I think we've heard him. All of us have encountered medical lab scientists at one time or the other in our life, but most often than not, when we think about our health, we will always probably not think about them. We think about doctors, we think about pharmacists, but these are the guys who, without them, the doctor cannot actually do anything. As we are facing the pandemic currently, the guys who are responsible for the testing of COVID-19 patients are likely these people we're talking about. So when we talk about the frontliners, the medical lab scientists are actually the frontliners. Can we please give another resounding round of applause for medical lab scientists? Thank you. So I'd like to call on Mr. Felix Fogu to give us his keynote speech to tell us the objective behind this project and how long we intend to take this project. I'm aware that this company from today is over 4 decades, or it's 4 decades, 40 years. For a company in Nigeria to have gone from 1 to 40 is no small achievement. And I'm very proud to be associated with this group. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you can all hear me. Good. The project consultant, the project team for the ISN Medical Laboratory Scientist of the Year Award, our valued partners and key stakeholders, the Federal Ministry of Health, the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria, MLSCN, the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, MLSN, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you're all welcome to ISN. Let me start with a story. So a woman goes to see her doctor, complaining of a headache, chills, a slight cough, and a slight fever. Her doctor immediately suspects the worst, but he decides to run some tests. So he sends her off to the lab to get some tests run. At the lab, she's welcomed by the friendly laboratory scientists who takes her samples and informs her that her test results will be ready in a few hours. A couple of hours later, the doctor calls her and informs her that she has just a cold. A bad case of the cold, but a cold nonetheless, a common cold. Did you know that the common cold can be caused by a type of coronavirus? And there are at least 6 types of coronaviruses. A trained laboratory scientist working with the right equipment can help a doctor differentiate between a common cold and the dreaded COVID-19. Medical laboratory scientists are among the frontline workers, as the MC has said, in this current fight, against COVID-19, as they are saddled with responsibilities of handling and testing patient samples. They do this efficiently, and they do this quietly. And it's very easy to miss their contributions to this fight against this pandemic. In fact, laboratory scientists have long been the unsung heroes of the medical practice, as they help to ensure that patients are properly diagnosed and therefore properly treated. At ISN, we feel strongly that it's about time that these heroes got the recognition that they deserve. According to the leadership guru, Dale Carnegie, he says that people work for money, but they go the extra mile for recognition, praise, and rewards. It is on that premise that we are proud to introduce the ISN Medical Laboratory Scientist of the Year Award as a way of recognizing and rewarding the efforts of medical laboratory scientists across Nigeria. The ISN Medical Laboratory Scientist of the Year Award will run from June to November of this year, 2020. And entry is open to practicing and licensed medical laboratory scientists. Grading and selection will be executed by an erudite panel of judges in September, while the grand finale and the award presentation will hold in November. To be eligible, a participant must have the requisite academic qualifications and must be a registered member of the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria, and also be working in a registered medical laboratory or hospital. In fact, this is as much a recognition of the laboratory in which that scientist works as it is about the scientist that wins. The overall winner of the award will receive a grand prize of 1 million naira, a capacity development training with one of our international partners, and a donation of medical laboratory equipment or reagents worth 1 million naira to the lab or the hospital in which that scientist works. The first runner-up will receive a cash prize of 750,000 naira, as well as a capacity development training with one of our international partners. And the second runner-up, or the third placed participant, will receive a cash prize of 500,000 naira with a capacity development training with one of our international partners. 7 other finalists will receive consolatory prizes of 200,000 naira each. On this note, I would like to call on every stakeholder in the healthcare sector to support this initiative, which is aimed at promoting quality in the practice of medical laboratory science in Nigeria. Finally, I would like to appreciate all of our partners, the Federal Ministry of Health, the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria, the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, and the media for your support of this project. Thank you. And on behalf of the Managing Director of ISN Products Nigeria Limited, it is my distinguished pleasure to flag off the inaugural edition of the ISN Medical Laboratory Scientist of the Year Award. Thank you very much.
I was actually expecting that we were going to clap at the point he was mentioning the prices, because it means that this company is actually very, very committed to promoting the practice. Imagine you're having an award for practitioners. So the winner goes home with a $1 million cash prize and capacity development training. And again, the hospital or laboratory where he or she works gets equipment or reagents worth another 1 million. I think we should give another round of applause. Talking about ISN. This is probably we know about ISN, so we're going to have this short presentation. It's in 2 folds. The first part is about ISN, which will be taken by Dr. Achebe, and the other part of the presentation is on the award. So I can show to you in detail what the ED has just mentioned. So, Dr. Achebe, you have the.
Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to stand on existing protocol. I'd like to appreciate the Executive Director, Mr. Philip Okumu, for that great introduction. And I'd also like to appreciate him for conceptualizing such an innovative and rewarding system for laboratory scientists. I'd also like to thank all those joining us online, especially our customers, some of which have been our customers for over 30 years. Thank you for joining us today as we plan this latest edition of the program. So for over the last 4 decades, ISN has rapidly grown and established herself as a leader in the medical diagnostics and distribution business. We have a nationwide presence, and we have 8 offices spread across Nigeria, and we intentionally put one in each geopolitical zone. And the essence is to be closer to our customers so that we can provide, services to them. Our products and services are closer to the customers and also to optimize the supply chain. We have grown in leaps and bounds, like I said, and recently we expanded into Ghana. We have 4 offices in Ghana, and we're looking at expanding into other West African countries in due course. ISN has a staff strength of over 150 employees, of which about 40 of them are laboratory scientists. Hence, our focus on this innovative program. We're known to supply more reagent parameters for clinical chemistry and immunology than any other company in Nigeria, and our aim is to promote the use of parameters for diagnosis and patient management throughout the country. Over the years, ISN has been known mainly for providing laboratory equipment, but we have also extended our services into the diabetes care, cold chain, storage and distribution, as well as biomedical engineering services. Our mission is to give healthcare practitioners and patients peace of mind through innovative medical diagnostic solutions. And when we talk about peace of mind to our customers, we refer to the service and support we provide to the customers. We're not just a sales company, we support through service, and we have factory-trained engineers in country that are able to support any equipment that we supply to our customers. We also do a lot of capacity building for our customers, and also we have various levels and chains of customer service. So we are focused on providing quality services to our customers. Our vision is to become the best-in-class healthcare-focused company in West Africa. So like we've talked about, we have several products and services we offer. Our main focus, like we said, is medical laboratory products. And we have reagents, consumables, as well as medical equipment. We also play in the space of hospital products. So in terms of patient and life support monitors, we do a lot of that, and then the consumables used at the hospital. We also play a huge role in diabetes care, being the major distributor of Accu-Chek in Nigeria. So to ensure we provide durable equipment that will give accurate and reproducible results, we partner with reputable original equipment manufacturers internationally, some of which are Roche, where we support the clinical chemistry, immunology, molecular solutions, as well as tissue diagnostics. Like I said earlier, we also focus on distributing the Accu-Chek, which is for diabetes management. They have been our long-time partner, and we have an exclusive relationship with them. And through them, we're able to distribute the largest number of clinical chemistry analyzers in Nigeria. For hematology solutions, we partner with Mindray, and they also provide our patient monitoring and life support devices. For BD, we partner with them for microbiology, and as we know, the analytic tubes that we use, which are very important when you talk about phlebotomy and taking the accurate samples to produce the right results. We partner with Randox for external quality assurance, and Merck for lab-grade water. So for all lab-grade water and water solutions, our partner is Merck Unifor. CTK, we partner with them for the rapid test kits, so test kits that are used for screening They're provided by CTK. So like I said, these are all very reputable brands. We only go with brands that are able to provide service to us and our customers. We just don't supply the instruments and leave you hanging. We support you all through the way. So at this point, I'd like to hand over to Mr. Bolaji Abimbola, who would, go into detail about this program and, the rewards and incentives. It's quite interesting, and he'll go into detail about the entire program. Thank you.
Thank you very much for considering. Thank you. Before I go into the details, I've been informed that by the time the ED was making a speech, we have about 100 participants online, and we have quite a number of people who are also watching live on YouTube. And I know, I'm very sure that out of the 100 participants will be a lot of our media guys who would have loved to join us here.
Sure.
But we have to tell, please join virtually. Can we please give them a round of applause? I'll go through this presentation just to give a bit more of detail about what we're doing. So let's first slide. The ISN National Award of the Year is a brainchild of ISN Product Nigeria Limited. The initiative, as the ED said, is aimed at recognizing and honoring the medical laboratory scientists that have displayed exceptional best practice in the Nigerian medical sector. And of course, this is the inaugural edition. It will be organized on a yearly basis. This is the first one. And we have a tagline. The tagline for the initiative is recognizing the unsung heroes of the medical practice in Nigeria. And like we said before, it aims to recognize and celebrate exceptional practice and also promote and encourage medical best practice that meets global standards, and of course to improve the quality of healthcare service delivery by reinforcing commitment by medical practitioners. And what do we mean by this? For example, for the first time in my life, I got to know from this company that the water they use in the lab is not the one that comes from the tap. And I got to know of the word reagent also for the first time. Because it is sometimes in this part of the world, especially in Nigeria, we give attention to a lot of things that are not supposed to actually have so much attention, and we neglect the basics. Because no matter, a lot of people have died because of wrong diagnosis. If we don't pay attention to medical lab scientists, they don't give you accurate test results. The doctor will just be treating malaria when what you actually have is COVID-19. So they are very important. And this will go a long way in encouraging these guys to believe that, yes, we're now being accorded the deserved recognition. Next time. Okay, the key stakeholders, the board of management of and staff of ISN, the government, the federal ministry of health have been very supportive. They've signaled the endorsement for the project. Of course, all the association, the AMSN, MLS, the council, and of course, the key stakeholders are the medical laboratory scientists, those who are either practicing or those who are retired. Doctor, are you still practicing or retired?
Still practicing.
You're not retired, so you cannot retire. And of course, the media, because we need you. I've been involved in projects like this. I know the role media play in ensuring that the project is given the due recognition. So we need you. We want your support to help us promote this project from the beginning to the end of the first edition and up to maybe the 50 and 100 edition that we may all be fortunate to see. Because I'm still 20, so hoping that I'll live another this. So this is the schedule. The plan started way back, so today we are doing flat up, and the call for entry campaign will commence immediately today. Because the portal is going to be open, people can actually go online on the website today and start filling the forms. Application collection and estimation and grading will be done between August and October. The project mentioned that we've selected elderly members of the society who are practitioners themselves as final authorities. We also have one representative from the media in that panel, so that that person will give another perspective So whatever discussion, so while they will be speaking the very good jargon, the person will be that balance in the room. And of course, the award ceremony, hopefully, that is called, will go down. If we have another ceremony in November, but even at that, if we're not able to do another ceremony, we'll still have a mini ceremony to present to the winners. And of course, communication will continue until the next edition, next time. So this is just a flow chart of how everything is going to go next time. Okay, already I mentioned that we have the support of the Federal Ministry of Health. We have the support of the Association of Medical Laboratory Sciences of Nigeria, known as the SACTAC of Health, and of course we have the support of the Council. Next. So this is the website, and the link is there for applicants to click and fill the form and submit online. Right there. Next slide. So the requirements, the person must have the means of identification, either international passport, driver's license, national ID, or whatever identification they have, requisite academic qualification. You provide us present credentials. Let us know where you're currently practicing. Support it, submit a 5 centimeter passport photograph, and of course, you are expected to have your certificate and license from the council and the association. So the ED spoke to this. The winner will go with 1 million cash prize with a plaque, and of course get capacity development training, while the hospital or laboratory where he or she wants to get another 1 million worth of medical equipment or reagents. First runner get 750 and training. Second runner get 500,000 and training. And because we do not want any of the top 10 participants to go empty-handed, other 7 will also go with 200,000 consultant. So what we're saying is, after the entire grading and evaluation, we're going to arrive at the list of 10, top 10. So to make that top 10 means that they're actually doing well and pulling away. At the end of the day, winners will be made, but every other person in that top 10 will go home with something. Next slide. So we have some competition materials. We're going to start the competition campaign right from today. Share. It's going to be on print, digital radio. Of course, we're going to do targeted communication through book, SMS, and email to these people who are targeted. Next slide. So some of the design banners already online on popular blogs, newspapers, and sites. And we're also counting on the association to help also push this message to the members, because we believe that these members are they exist in an ecosystem where we can actually reach them directly. So for the benefit of those who may not be aware, so we're also going to explore the use of the mass media to make this a publicly known initiative. Thank you very much. You want to play the radio? Okay, please. You're not ready? Can we get that done in one second? Let me thank you then. Okay, while we're talking with that, let me pass the microphone to the media past president of the association to please say a few words to the organizer and what you think about the initiative.
Excellent. The executive director, it's indeed a pleasure, personal pleasure to be meeting you today.
Okay.
The ISN Business Development Agency is anchor person. The consultants, distinguished eminent personalities, architects, distinguished participants that are joining us virtually, distinguished gentlemen and ladies of the press. I'm indeed excellently glad to be here today to represent our national president. when I was getting a call yesterday that the Lagos State Branch Chairman, Mr. Olumide Fadipe, they are seated, and my humble self must be physically present here today. We were wondering why the president was giving the directive that we must be here. And he sent all the letters to us. When we read through it, I told Mr. Fadipe, I said, this is a program that we must not miss. And thank God we are here. As a little background, our association, the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, was established in March 1964. That would be around 56 years ago. That was after the Medical Laboratory Science Program, technology as it was called then, was introduced into Nigeria in 1920. The program started informally during the colonial era, I said 1920. And with gradual development, some of the early practitioners were trained abroad. And they were registered by the main Institute of Medical Science in London. Majority of those early practitioners were registered through that regulatory body. So in 1964, when we had maybe about 10, 15 people practicing in country, then they sat down, they said there must be a platform through which excellence in medical lab science will be promoted, through which government will be able to listen to whatever that are required or that is required to strengthen medical laboratory technology as at that time. And they started. I said about 15 people. Today, to the glory of God, we are about 35,000 people. It's to show the spread and the strength of medical laboratory scientists in Nigeria. Not only in Nigeria, they are spread globally. Two of us have in various health facilities in the UK practicing, and we have a platform for them in government lab scientists in diaspora, and they are constantly getting in touch with us. That is a little background about medical lab scientists and our association. And of course, the council, which is the government hand that regulates and ensures that practitioners do what they are supposed to do, the Medical Lab Science Council of Nigeria, as a result of the activities of members of the association at that time, came on board in 1968 through Decree 56 of 1968. That decree had undergone various amendments. Currently, is now being run under the mandate provided for in Act 11 of 2003, which is now which is an act of parliament. And indeed, we are extremely happy that this initiative is coming from you. You started with a little story. And also, I hope you can see that I have also started with some stories.
Yeah.
Stories are needed for the younger ones to also learn and see where we are coming from. This organization that is 40 years old, there is hardly any medical lab scientist, as many as we are, that have never heard of ISN. ISN is an household name among medical lab scientists, wherever we practice. Even those that are practicing in all of the 774 local governments in Nigeria. ISN is an household name. And we are very proud of you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We are very proud of you.
Thank you.
This is the second institution that has dazzled us within the last 1 week. Last week, I was participating at a webinar organized by a group that is called Celebrate Lab West Africa. That body consists of professionals from all West African regions. And participants from African continent. This is the kind of initiative, the thought that made them believe that the lab should be celebrated.
Sure.
And they said the group is called Celebrate with the Lab West Africa. Today, you have also strengthened that. And you have even gone further to tag a kind of award to it. This is a serious assignment given to medical lab scientists all over the country. And I'm sure when our colleagues in diaspora get to know this, they will know that, yes, there are people in this country that are according medical lab scientists the desired recognition that is long overdue. Sometimes we joke among us, we say, thank God for some things that are happening globally, not only in Nigeria. The advent of HIV, the advent of tuberculosis, and even the endemic malaria disease in Africa, and of course COVID-19, has further proved to the world the laboratory must be paid special attention.
Sure.
And that is why we are indeed very happy that you have given this award, and we are flagging up this award today. Having listened to you, and because we need to give the president a feedback, you know, I was taking notes. And he too was noting. We must write a brief at the end of this program and forward it to the national executive officers under the able leadership of the national president. I personally have seen this award not only a competition among medical lab scientists in this country, but also inter-institutional competition. Sure. Because you have said that even where that person practices, award in form of reagent and equipment will be given to them. I don't see any institution in this country that will not express some words of commendation to ISN through this initiative. On behalf of the national president, incidentally, I'm the 12th national president. We have the 13th president, the 13th national president on seat now. It's a case of the 13th president delegating the 12th national president to promise that on behalf of our members, the members of the Association of Medical Lab Scientists of Nigeria, we shall not disappoint you.
Thank you very much.
I said shall, not will. Some of us who are into quality management system know the difference between when you choose the word shall and when you say will. By the grace of God, we shall not disappoint.
Thank you very much.
It is not only competition, medical lab scientist competition, it is also inter-institutional competition. The MC jokingly asked me whether I was still practicing or not. To the glory of God, I'm still actively practicing. But I promise you that some of us who are a little old in the profession will give chance to the younger ones, so that at least we know that this award is not only held in confidence among those that are a little up in the profession, and it's also giving every opportunity to the younger ones. So it's not an award that the old one is going to monopolize. It is open, and from what we have seen, it's going to be an open and fair competition, knowing fully well that there will be a panel of judges.
Sure.
So on behalf of all of us, over 35,000 medical lab scientists of Nigeria, on behalf of the national executive officers, on behalf of the registrar, Dr. Tosan Irabo of Medical Lab Science Council of Nigeria, and on behalf of the various institutions where all of us work, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. May God continue to bless ISN. May God continue to bless all medical lab scientists in Nigeria. May God continue to bless Nigeria, and may God continue to bless all of us, those that are here today and those that are watching us virtually. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That is very powerful one, and we do appreciate it. So I would like to take a few feedback from the chairman. Before then, I want us to play the radio materials. Please, guys, are you ready? Please go. Hello. Not necessarily already, so I'll take the Lagos State Chairman. We will take this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The ED, ISN, other noble personalities on the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen here and those, following on various social media. It is a great pleasure to be here. And first and foremost, let me appreciate the management of ISN Nigeria Limited for their partnership with us over the years. Because I know for so many years I can't remember, they have always partnered with us in most of our conferences and seminars. And if not for the COVID-19 pandemic, I'm sure we'll have had another annual conference of ours, and I'm sure they will have been there to support us this year. Being here today is very flattering to my heart.
Are you a
And I
medical
must
lab
say,
scientist
the
in any public
tagline
or private medical?
for this event celebrating the unsung heroes, I must say, there's no other, tagline that can be more appropriate or more catchy for the reality out there for us as medical scientists. We are indeed the unsung heroes, consigned to that almost invisible research, whether in terms of health administration or in terms of structure. Visit any hospital that has a laboratory where when you need a test, you need to get a test done, where they'll tell you to go and do the test. One research like that. Sometimes the patient don't even get to see the lab professional. It's not a sample. But like my former president said, COVID-19 pandemic has actually brought about a great repositioning from that invisible research that we are concerned to, does not have to be front runner in the scheme of things. At least we all see it out there. COVID-19 pandemic, the first place to go is laboratory testing. Without testing, nothing can be done. And that is what is happening here today. We are really, really very happy that eventually a medical lab scientist is being recognized for his hard work, even though going unnoticed, that somewhere, somebody is thinking and is appreciating the effort, the noble effort of medical science. Having said that, I want to appreciate you. This is laudable. It's a very, very noble, concept and gesture. And we are very sure, like my immediate past president said, that there will be transparency. We have no doubt about that. From my own very humble position, I will also want to advise that ISN should not rest on its cause. Because a very, very great gesture like this surely must command other gestures. That means the thinking process or procedure that brought about this, should be kept busy. But very soon, I won't be surprised if other organizations are coming, up with this kind of program. But we know where the idea started from. And we know there's no way you do it, you know, it can never be like that of the original, you know. Yes, that is just the truth of it. So, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
We are ready to associate with you, like we've been doing it in the past, all the time. God bless you. Forever, I say, back forever.
Thank you very much.
We're going to be taking interactive section now. Last question from the member of the president, and of course, those of them joining us online. So if you are joining us online, please signify by raising your hand. So we'll come to you, we'll take your question, and we can hear you loud and clear. But before then, I'd like to ask are you ready? So please, let us have the radio.
It is time to recognize the unsung heroes of medical practice. Yes, the search is on for the most exceptional medical lab scientist in Nigeria. Are you a medical lab scientist in any public or private medical institution? Do you have what it takes to be the ISN Medical Lab Scientist of the Year? Then this opportunity is for you. The winner takes home 1 million naira cash, a capacity development training, and a donation of laboratory equipment to where he or she works. The first and second runners-up win 750,000 naira and 500,000 naira respectively, while 7 other finalists would win 200,000 naira each. To apply, visit www.isnmedical.com to fill and submit your entry. Application opens on the 24th of June and closes on the 12th of August, 2020. The ISN Medical Lab Scientist of the Year Award, recognizing the unsung heroes of medical practice.
Okay, we have one time up, Mr. Daniel will be make it 2 and 3, so we'll do these 3, then we'll come back. After these 3, we'll take questions from people that are joining virtually. All right.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Really, I'm delighted to be here. My name is Daniel Obi, and I write for Business Day. We're a leading business newspaper in Nigeria. When you hear that the private sector is the engine of the economy and the driver of the economy, and this is your program, your project is indicative of that. And we are driving the economy through this and encouraging the lab scientists. In fact, I'm delighted on this one. But to get clarification from the ED, what should a lab scientist do to merit this award? Is it the long service in the medical laboratory? Is it ability to test complicated case? Or is it, tell me what should he do to pass it? To the former president, you said will or shall. That sounds like a PDP. and to your Lagos State chairman too, who is asking ISL to continue. I ask you, after about 40 years, I mean, something years, why didn't the association thought it wise to take this on, to take this kind of encouragement and recognition of one of your members, instead of allowing, it's not that it's bad to allow organizations to do that, but why didn't the association on their own start this initiative? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'll take the first question. First of all, thank you very much for the kind words, and thank you for your presence here. And thank you for the question as well. I think it's a very apt question, and a very good question, which is what should essentially a scientist do to merit the award? Another way to think about it is what is the criteria for selecting both the panelists and the ultimate winners of the award. So it also provides me with an opportunity to clarify that what we are celebrating, what we're recognizing is quality in medical laboratory science practice. So misdiagnosis can come, in various forms. Misdiagnosis can come because no lab test was done, and the doctor just relied on observation of the patient and perhaps a physical examination and some questions. Or misdiagnosis can come from the fact that a lab test was done, but it was done incorrectly or without the right quality protocol observed. So what we are celebrating and recognizing is quality laboratory practice among scientists, and that's what we're trying to encourage as well. So the question of what's the criteria for determining this came up actually very early in the planning stage of this entire exercise. And one of the reasons we assembled a project team and a project consultant who is a very trained, highly trained and very experienced laboratory scientist to help us think through what the various quality parameters are in the practice of medical laboratory sciences. And that is what has informed the criteria for selection. So I'll ask the project consultant, Mr. Daniel Adewuni, on behalf of the project team to speak more about the specific criteria for selection.
Yes, sir. Regarding the criteria for selection, we've carefully selected very erudite scholars, practitioners in the laboratory, medical laboratory science, to come together to give us what we should look out for. And the top of that, the topmost in the criteria for selection is because we are promoting quality laboratory practices. A scientist, a medical lab scientist that will be qualified for this award must have shown a great level of quality practice in their respective laboratory. So the key point is, how committed are you to quality laboratory diagnosis? That's the topmost criteria. And we believe that we will stand by that. And also, for a medical lab scientist to be qualified for this award, the medical lab scientist must be in good standing with the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria and the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria. Because without the regulatory body, we cannot guarantee the quality of diagnosis. So how the good standing of the practitioner with the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria is also important. We have the criteria quite long, just to give us the topmost there. So there will be a form that they will apply. On the application form, we have the list of the checklist of what we are looking at. But the topmost with this is the commitment to quality diagnosis. We have our indicators for checking that, and also the good standing with the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria. Because if you don't have the license to practice, how are we sure you will give out quality rate? Thank you.
Thank you. If I may just add to that, if you go online, there are certain questions. It's like you're writing a JDC that have been set there that you need to provide answers to. And it's on basis of that, combined with your qualification and your certification, that you will be adjudged and graded by the management.
Okay.
Just like you have the award for journalists, the Media Merit Award and all that, you are expected to apply, submit some of your works, and the panel will sit and they will judge it. So, but you can, if you want to check details, you can click on that link. You will see, in fact, anybody that will take me to complete the process, but to someone that is sad and committed to quality.
Let me just also add that just to Mr. Daniel's point about the topmost criterion being around quality in laboratory practice. Now that has to be demonstrated and that has to be proven. So there are certain quality control measures that trained lab scientists are supposed to run regularly when they do their testing. There are also certain quality assurance measures, post-analytics, analytical quality assurance measures that also should be taken. And all of these are designed to ensure that the tests and the results of the tests that are run are tests that are results that you can bank on and that are reproducible anywhere in the world. So they have to demonstrate that they are regularly running those quality control and quality assurance measures at their lab.
Let me also join the ED in commending Mr.
Daniel Obi, for the excellent question. Before I go to that question, let me quickly add that I want to commend you for seeking for evidence of recognition by Medical Lab Science Council of Nigeria and the association. The reason why I have to join you in commending you on this is that there are so many quacks practicing in every field, not only in medical lab science, in law, in journalism. So it's a way of proving that yes, you are not dealing with quacks. And even when you are a professional, you must do things professionally. You must do it professionally. And that is why there is what we call, there is a committee in our profession which we call a malpractice committee. Somebody that is a professional but is not doing it professionally. That person is not going to be accused of quackery, but is going to be accused of professional malpractice. So we have instruments for dealing with those two in our profession. But to answer the question precisely as you have put it, why hasn't AMLSN, that's the Association of Medical Lab Scientists of Nigeria, why haven't we instituted a similar awards? I'm glad we are interacting today through this platform. And it's also a way of knowing more about our association. Like I said earlier on, this is an association that was founded about 56 years ago. The primary objective for this association is how can we continue to strengthen medical lab science practice in this country, not only in Nigeria, but globally. How can we partner with organizations with similar mind or similar objectives? And I think we are glad to be partnering with ISN because the objective is similar to ours. So any organization that has the same objective with the objective that was set by our association 56 years ago, we are ready to partner with such organizations. And on our own, we have instituted a lot of prizes. For instance, we have a prize for excellence in leadership, which we call Leadership Award. We have what we call Award for Professional Excellence. I can mention some of our colleagues that have won this. In fact, one of them is a retired Air Commodore. I don't want to mention the name, but those of us who know that we have a retired Air Commodore in our profession, we quickly know the person. Not only among us, but even among those that are in diaspora, that are med lab scientists, we have given such awards to colleagues. And that has been a form of incentive why most of them or most of us are now doing even more. But not even among practicing med lab scientists. We also have an award for students that have demonstrated academic excellence. A number of awards for them. Those who have made first class, those who made best performance in their various academic endeavors, we have given prizes for them, to them. So it is not that we have not done that, but you know, we have not announced it the way ISN is doing it. And I'm glad they're doing it this way, because if they don't do it this way, nobody will know. Just like nobody knew that we were giving awards to ourselves, we instituted a lot of awards among our colleagues in the profession. So thank you, Mr. Obi, for that question.
Thank you, sir. So I'll take these two questions together.
My name is Shoma Obina. I write for Vanguard Okay. My name is Shoma Obina. I write for Vanguard Newspaper, and I'm the president of the Health Association of Nigeria. My question, my colleague has already asked the first question. But my second question has to do with diagnosis. Even when the executive director was talking, he also mentioned the diagnosis, and thank God the former president of NLSN is here today. I want you to tell us what you're doing in terms of the development of diagnosis lab practice today in Nigeria. And again, I also want to know This award, is it a one-off thing? Is it going to be an annual award?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
My name is Daniel. Yes, I can go for if I guess we repeat. My question is on rapid testing and molecular testing. Since we are in the period of COVID-19 in Nigeria, we now debate at the beginning of the soup. But I want to ask, since we are in the base of the lab scientists, since we know that rapid testing is faster and cheaper, don't you think the federal government and the government should embrace it so that we ramp up our testing, because a lot of people have not been tested, and even the cases you are saying then is increasing. So do you think, or do you advise that the federal government and state government embrace rapid testing to diagnosing COVID-19? Thank you.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
These are very interesting questions. And I want to start by also commending Chioma Obina for the question that she has raised on misdiagnosis. What are the causes of misdiagnosis? I was participating at the webinar the other time, not the one I cited earlier on. And the title was, why isn't that a wrong result is not entirely the fault of the lab? Now, a wrong result is not entirely the fault of the lab. That was the title of the discussion. So in a way, Chioma is also asking why or what are the causes of misdiagnosis. Now, let's put it this way. Diagnosis means you are trying to find out of so many competing causes, which one is the real cause? Because when somebody is sick, maybe somebody has fever, headache, and all that. So many things can cause that. We can begin to mention 10 disorders that can cause all of this: fever, headache, pain, and all that. But how do we diagnose precisely? So it means the first point of diagnosis is when a patient presents in the clinic. And they will ask questions. What do you eat? Why is it doing you? And all that. Sometimes human beings can hide facts. They will ask questions and say, no. Whereas that thing is happening. Sure. But he said, no. So what could bring it out, the truth, is when you go for testing. Either laboratory testing, in which case, which is about 70% of the cases. Or they ask you to go and do scan or do X-ray. So misdiagnosis starts, especially lab now. Let me talk precisely about the causes of misdiagnosis of lab in the laboratory. One is what ISN is trying to avoid: the use of wrong equipment and wrong reagents. A lot of reagents and equipment have found their way into the country. Those that are certified, those that are not certified, those that are validated, those that are not validated. A lot. In fact, the COVID-19 that we are discussing now, within the 3 or 4 months that the thing has emerged, we have over 201 diagnostic reagents now that have been manufactured. A lot of them are performing below standard. You've heard what the Medical Lab Science Council of Nigeria said about the evaluation of those things that they have done. So those wrong reagents, wrong equipment, finding their ways into the Nigerian market, that is one of the causes of misdiagnosis. Because when you use wrong equipment, when you use wrong reagent, no matter how excellently a medical lab scientist is trained, you get wrong results. The second one, which I don't want to go into because it's more politics, is that even within the health facility environment, when you recommend as a practitioner that this is the best type of procurement that should be bought for this type of assay, the authority will say, no, this one is, you must buy this.
And who are you to say no when your guy say this is the one you must buy? And you say no, this one is not good. You say, have you seen another job? so that is why I said it's more of politics. So we must get it right. The third possible cause is when you have wrong hands that are employed. I said wrong hand because the person is not a professional. He's not qualified to do what he's doing, but he has been employed. Even when you say this person is not qualified, the last this one is, they say, are you the employer or we are the employer? Employment of wrong hands. And then maybe the fourth one, if I begin to mention so many, is people not having the right enabling environment to work with. What do I mean by this? There are some equipment, and you know this more. All of your engineers know this. There are some equipment that will not perform better if they are put under certain environmental conditions. I was discussing with somebody sometimes. I said, we need AC in our laboratory stock. He said, AC, what do you need AC for? Even in my office, I don't have AC. I said, yes, you may not have AC in your office, but all the reagents that we are putting in that stock must be kept at a particular temperature. Any temperature above that will render those reagents ineffective. They will lose their potency. And what's the essence of buying reagent with several millions of naira? And in the cost of putting it in the under a unfavorable condition, you will lose the potency of those reagents. And of course, it will be insane for you that an institution has procured huge amount of equipment and reagents, and within a month or two, you said this thing has lost potency. They will say, what is happening to you? You must use it like that. So I have mentioned about 5 factors, really, but there are so many other factors. Because of our time, I have to limit it, but so many things. So, but that is why we have mandated our members nationwide. If you are doing the right thing and you document it, it's not by saying it verbally. You need something that will make you perform optimally. Right, document. Even if it is not approved, just document. Keep on keeping it. At a time, if issues arise, you will present your evidence. As lawyers, they need evidence in court to show what you have done as a professional. Because one of the responsibilities of the most senior medical lab scientists in any institution in Nigeria is that you are supposed to advise management on policies that affect the day-to-day running of the laboratory, which is your area of competence. So those are some of the reasons that could lead to misdiagnosis. And once the misdiagnosis is allowed to occur, of course, the doctors or clinicians will be misled, the patient will waste money, they will not recover early, and in an unfortunate circumstance, the patient may die. Nobody will be happy to see any of those things, whether they waste money, whether they stay too much in the hospital or longer than necessary, because that one has also economic impact on the family and even the person. And if unfortunately the person dies, nobody is going to be happy. So these are some of the things we must address clearly. Cases of misdiagnosis, and journalists are here to assist us. Because when you talk as med lab scientists, they think you are just exhibiting your professional ego. But all of us must speak as one. We must arrest any factor, any cause of misdiagnosis in the laboratory. Thank you. I think I have.
No sanctions. No sanctions for this.
Yes, there are sanctions. If it could be proven that the misdiagnosis is as a result of professional negligence or professional incompetence or professional negligence on the part of the practitioners. The Medical Lab Science Council of Nigeria has a committee on professional misconduct, negligence, and professional malpractice. Even the association too has a standing rule. The association can report any of those misconduct among our members to the council, and the council will use their instrument of law to hammer that person. Because if the worst you can do, or the best you can do as an association, is to say, this person, we are going to suspend you for so, using our own constitution. But the government agent, which is the Medical Lab Science Council of Nigeria, has the backing of the law. I cited Act 11 of 2003 the other time. They can even withdraw the person's license. So there are sanctions. And that is why all of us are sitting up, and we shall continue to sit up. You said it is between APC and the quality management system and the standard that we use for medical laboratory practice globally, I'm not talking of Nigeria now, is ISO 15189 standard. That standard cherishes the use of sharp in whatever you say. So it's not the APC PDP statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have one question, sir, from the punch guy. Okay. Who was asking about mass testing?
Okay, yes. Sorry. I'm sorry, Dayo. I'm really sorry. Now, testing in the era of COVID-19, it has generated a lot of discussions. Molecular testing or rapid diagnostic testing. Like I said earlier on, there are so many platforms now for molecular testing. Even the molecular testing, there are so many platforms that you can use, different kits with different PCR platforms. The rapid diagnostic test kit is also different types. And let me quickly say that the difference between rapid diagnostic test kits and the molecular testing, the major difference is that you can do rapid diagnostic test even outside the lab. That's even beside the patient bedside. Quick test, you get within 30 minutes at most and release the result. Whereas molecular testing is more concise, more definitive, more reliable than the rapid diagnostic testing. But currently, I said earlier on that of all the rapid diagnostic test kits that have been introduced into the country, not many of them can perform satisfactorily based on the validation that is ongoing at the Medical Lab Science Council of Nigeria. So we cannot rely on a rapid kit that has not been validated for use. See, the danger in our region, when I say our region, I mean West African region, and the continent, is that we rely heavily on CE marked items. When you say it is CE marked, it means it's suitable for the market. Or you say FDA approved, then it's good for use. Whereas, what is CE marked or FDA approved and is suitable in all of those continents may not be suitable here. There are so many scientific reasons for that. So there must be appropriate validation and approval. So that is one reason. Then the second reason is that why molecular testing is still very valid is that it depends on the timing and the type of sample you are collecting before you can say you are using rapid diagnostic tests. If, for instance, within a week of symptoms and you are suspecting COVID-19, you cannot use a rapid diagnostic test on that because the virus that is shed into the fluid of the patient or the suspect may not have been high enough for you to detect it early. So you have to use molecular testing because that is the one that you can detect even the minute quantity of whatever that the person is shed in the fluid as early as possible. And once that is done and detected, the best approach will be to isolate that person so that the person will not continue to spread it in the society. Before you can use RDT, it will be about 2-3 weeks after the onset of symptoms. Even at that, some of these kits have not been validated. And that's one of the challenges. Some of these are the challenges that we have to contend with. Not until when we have validated rapid diagnostic tests that have been commented on in this our climb, we cannot continue to say all rapid test kits should continue to be used. Thank you very much.
I've been told that we have no police hands online. Want to ask a question? Are they still there? Yes. They're still there? Yes. Okay, can we take them? Hello, sir. Can you hear us? You're live. You can ask a question or make your contribution, sir. Please unmute your mic to be able to speak, sir. You are live here, and we can hear you. What's the name? What's the name of the person? Mr. Ogweta Dauda, please unmute your mic and speak. We can hear you. Mr. Ogweta Dauda, you are on, but your mic is muted. Can you unmute and speak to us? We are willing to listen to you. Okay, let's take somebody else. Okay. Go.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Solomon.
Hello? Yes, are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, so good morning, everybody, and especially the people on the high table. My name is Solomon Umukoro. I'm joining you from Banjul, Gambia. I work for the Medical Research Council of the Gambia. I am really very happy for what is happening today and what ISN has flagged off today. I'm happy because of two things. I'm happy because of the reason for which they want to do this. And I'm happy also for the criteria, as mentioned, that they are using for this. And when I summarize both the reason and the criteria, I saw that it's all about quality. So because of quality, and which is also one of the things you find with most of their products, because ISN products are well known, even to us, that we are here. So I'm very, very happy. But one other things that I saw in the criteria is that they didn't mention that procurement of ISN is going to be a prerequisite for your participation. So I am very hopeful that that all participants be given equal opportunity to participate, and then equal rating based. They will participate on level playing field. So I'm very happy, and I encourage our colleagues, medical lab scientists that are at home, that is in the country, to participate actively in this. We from the diaspora, wherever we are, will be watching with keen interest. So on this note, I just want to commend ISN and the wisdom they have in partnering with the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria and even the association. My president, Rahim, I salute you. I know we worked recently on a particular thing on COVID just recently. I salute you. It's good to see you looking very good. Thank you very much, all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate you for joining us from the government. We have online Mr. Adeyinka. Mr. Adeyinka, you can hear us. You have the floor now.
Hello, good morning.
Very good morning to you, Mr. Adeyinka.
Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly. Loud and clear.
Yeah, good morning to the director, ISN, other team members. I also salute my immediate past president, Dr. Toyosi Rahim, our leader, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Prince Adeyinka. I'm calling you right from Akure in Ondo State. Now, let me first appreciate ISN for this wonderful benevolence, which is aimed at identifying and celebrating commitment to excellence with regards to diagnosis and the role of medical lab scientists in Nigeria. Now I have a little reservation. And I would say that I have no doubt in my mind that the winner of this contest, or probably the first 6 or 7 who will be winners, will be from the private sector. And the reason is not far-fetched. This is because you have much of political will in terms of purchase of quality equipment, training and retraining, and so much of will in terms of innovations. But when you go to public establishments and facilities, you will see workers, staff professionals who have been there for the past 10, 15 years without any training. All they have been able to accumulate is just the little they were able to invest their money and time to accumulate. And so if a private facility already has much of the ISN equipment and they have been exposed to trainings and the rest, and eventually you are going there to establish such facility, I want to believe part of the essence of your innovation might be defeated. So my advice is probably subsequently, I don't know how you've been able to conclude about this one you're having. We need to also consider how you can register your presence in facilities where you have like an ethical attitude of the government and workers are just exhibiting this kind of archaic experience, and you have unconducive environment, so that as a way of also advertising your products, you can help them and also help quality service, because your quality management the innovation you are bringing by virtue of training of these people who win the contest will also help the patient who are at the receiving end. I thank you all and I appreciate you for this wonderful gesture. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. God bless you for joining us from our prayer. We also still have Mr. Ukweja Dauda online. Are you with us now? Mr. Dauda Ukweja, are you willing to speak to us now?
Yes, please. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir. You have the floor.
I appreciate the program, and I have been with ISN for more than 20-something years now. That I was in a junior specialist hospital in Apapa. I've had the cost to use most of your equipment then, and I thank you for organizing this kind of forum for us to have more light, to share more light on COVID-19 and the testing and other things. But I have a little deviation here. A while ago, a video was posted on our AMC Lagos WhatsApp platform. And it said that COVID-19 is not a viral infection, and it's a bacterial infection, and that the World Health Organization have been deceiving the world about it. Is this a myth or a statement of fact? Thank you.
I will leave the past president to answer. Difficult question will answer the past president. A simple one will be to the
Okay. I want to thank all our colleagues that have made comments, one or two. It means people are really watching this event nationally and internationally. I want to commend Solomon Mukoro because he was practicing in Nigeria before he moved to the Gambia. And I also commend Adedere and Dauda Ukweja for the contribution or the comment. Now, precisely when you say COVID-19, some people are even saying COVID-19 is a scam. But anybody that is following closely the report of Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, and anybody that has lost one relation or the other, we definitely believe or know that this is a reality that we have to contend with. I'm sure the video that Dauda Ukweja was referring to must have been one of these videos that people were circulating. It wasn't originated from members of the association in Lagos State. But you know, people copy video from different platforms and send it to different platforms. I'm sure that was why the thing landed in AMC Lagos platform that he referred to. COVID-19 is not a scam, it's a reality. As we are seated here, we have lost some of our colleagues. And it is because there is, I'm not authorized to mention names. That's why I will not mention names. But we have lost some of our colleagues who got infected in the line of their duty.
We have also seen seen colleagues that have lost relations. Two, I will give an example, happened about last week. One was brought to a screening center or a testing center. I won't want to mention the center so that it won't be seen as an advertisement. The colleague brought those people to the screening center and took them back. Before the result was ready, the patient had died. And when the result came out, he was positive for COVID-19. That colleague had to go and bring all the family members to the testing center. And some of them in the process were also tested positive. The other one happened in a church where one of our colleagues worships. He said they were members of his church, and because of the symptoms the person was exhibiting, brought the person or took the person to a testing center. And when the test was carried out, the person went home. When it was to collect the result, in fact, when they were calling to tell the person that the result was ready, they should come and collect the test result because the email was not accessed. Because the person was saying, come and collect the result. It was on the while calling that the son picked the call and said, sorry, they have lost the father. And so many other things like that. We have lost a very senior public officer in this country. So why are people insinuating that it was a scam? Some people are even saying it was a conspiracy theory, that 5G, 4G, and all of that. So please, Nigerians must learn how to agree with the truth. This is an invisible agent that is moving to any part of the world. It's not a scam, it's not a conspiracy theory, it is the reality. And all of us must learn to do that. So we must break the transmission through testing, through isolation, through non-pharmaceutical intervention like hands washing, social distance, and all of those things, so that we can quickly bring this global pandemic to an end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think we have less than 10 minutes to wrap up this proceeding. Like 6 of questions have been sent online. For one, Patient Johnson, she wrote that, talking about rapid testing, how useful can the IgG report be, especially if the patient is presumed to have contacted the virus earlier? That's the question. I have another one here from Belinda Isibo. I'd like to know the list of your various IVD products. Dr. Tede will speak to them. And on that note, we will not be able to take any other further questions that come in. After this answers, we'll just call on Valerie to gladly give us the votes of thanks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I didn't actually get the question, but I had IgG, IgM. And let me also add that we also have IgA. There is something we call immunoglobulins, which are antibodies. Antibodies are produced as a result of exposure to infection. And because we are in the tropical areas, so many infections could trigger immunoglobulin production, antibody production. So we have different types. But for COVID-19, the antibody types are IgG, IgM, and IgA. And all of them are produced at different levels or stages of the infection. For instance, if somebody is infected, maybe 2-3 weeks, you know, the incubation period is about 2 to 14 days. So if somebody was infected within the 2 to 14 days, if you do the rapid testing, you may not detect the antibody. It could be negative. And that is why the molecular testing becomes very relevant now at that stage. Because the process of antibody production, whether IgG, IgM, or IgA, takes a while after the infection. Because the infection stimulates the body to begin to produce these antibodies. And of course, the first to be produced will be IgM. Because that's the one that shows up at the acute phase of the infection. And after a while, the IgG will begin to be produced, and then IgA. So relying on any of these IgG, IgM, or IgE depends on the timing after symptom development. The one that is expected to come first after symptom development is the IgG, but that will not come earlier in the infection. It will take a while before it begins. So the fact that it's tested negative does not mean the person is not infected. You may have to wait until after a while and retest. So those are some of the things that has to do with IgG, IgM, and IgA antibody production, and the timing for the testing, and the reliability of the testing, of the test results. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Dr. Slade, please speak to the types of IVD products we have.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. So ISN, we provide total laboratory solutions when it comes to in vitro diagnostics. Like I said earlier, we have several partners. And for clinical chemistry, we partner with Roche, and we have various ranges. You know, we start from this Cobas C111, and then ramp up. We have the C311 as well, but the C111 is the entry point for clinical chemistry. For immunoassay, we carry the Cobas E411 from Roche as well, and then we have molecular systems as well. So the likes of the Magna Pure for extraction and the Light Cycler for detection of COVID-19. We have all of those. For hematology testing, we partner with Mindray. We carry the 3-part analyzers and 5-part analyzers. Microbiology, we partner with ED. We're able to do, we have the FX40 and the M50. You know, we have several of these instruments, and we have a program where labs can access finance. So we know finance is a major challenge in our environment. So we came up with the innovation for customers to access finance to purchase this equipment. So with a down payment of 20%, any lab can have access to this equipment. We talked about misdiagnosis earlier. So our focus mainly is to automate these labs, because manual methods, they're prone to errors. So we carry mainly automated machines. And to know more about these machines or to find out more, you can check our website. There's a whole list of IVD products and non-IVD products. Check us out at www.isnmedical.com. In addition to that, we have the external quality assurance. So we've talked a lot about quality and how ISN promotes quality. So this we partner with, for this part of quality assurance, we partner with Randox, and most of our customers have signed up to this program. These are some of the things that eliminate or help to eliminate misdiagnosis in laboratory medicine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So on that note, I'd like to call on Valerie for the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Balaji. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the staff and management of ISN Products Nigeria Limited, I'd like to thank everyone who contributed towards making this event a success. I'd like to thank our partners, the Federal Ministry of Health, the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria, and of course, the Association of Medical Lab Scientists of Nigeria. We thank you so much for your immense contributions toward this project in form of endorsements, partnerships, and generally, thank you for your support. We also thank every person present here, both physically and virtually. We thank you very much for making this flag of event possible. We thank you, everybody who has contributed in one way or the other to being here. And we thank the general medical laboratory science profession for giving us the opportunity to reward quality service in your field. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.
Okay. Yeah. Let's run it. Okay.
Sir, please join.